Hello and welcome to the Joy Newsroom. The news is live on the Joy News channel and also on DSTV channel 421. My name is Mamiesi Nyamiche Thompson. Coming up, 3 persons burnt to death in a road crash near Bono Manso, a town on the Techiman-Kintampo Highway in the Bono East region. One person has been killed in a reprisal attack in the Young Dapemeyele chieftaincy dispute with 3 houses torched. We hear from our correspondent and the assemblyman for the area. Also, National Coordinator of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, urges Ghanaian and Ivorian residents living in the border community of Grand Bassam in Côte d'Ivoire to do their part in securing the boundaries of the 2 countries by reporting any violations of the Western Maritime Boundary. Also, 3 persons are reported to have burnt to ashes in an accident Friday near Bono Manso, and we'll be back with details. I am Mamiesi Nyamiche Thompson. Now to our first story. 3 persons are reported to have burnt to ashes in an accident Friday night near Bono Manso, a town on the Techiman-Kintampo Highway in the Bono East region. A speeding passenger bus heading towards Techiman from the Kintampo end is said to have caught fire soon after crashing head-on with a trailer carrying alcoholic beverages and headed in the opposite direction. Correspondent Anas Sabit joins us on the line for more on this accident. Anas, if you can hear me, what's the latest you can report? And we are yet to get to Anas. As you can see on your screen, an accident scene and some persons injured, 1 person on the forehead, and you see his arms and legs in bandages, soiled in blood in a hospital facility. I wouldn't know where yet, but this is an accident where 3 persons are reported to have been burnt to ashes. And we have our correspondent Anas Sabit on the line with us now. Anas, if you can hear me, we are looking currently at the injured persons on our screen, but what's the latest you can report on this particular accident?
What we are gathering is that the number of persons involved in the accident exceeds 40. Looking at around 45, 46. The accident now, we can confirm that 3 persons have been found dead. 40 are really serious degrees of injury, and we have some of them, being taken care of by the Holy Family Hospital in the south. These are still on admission at the Holy Family Hospital. We feel that some 2 others cannot be accounted for. We don't know if we got them completely, but 3 patients and 3 secured from the anything we take from the regional fire command, 8 for 1 human income, 8 persons are still 40 IS, these are sent from admission at the Holy Family Hospital. As we speak, the best local has young kids going for the 8
All right, Anas, we're grateful for your time here on Joy Newsroom, and I'm sure you'll be bringing us the latest on that. And you heard Anas Sabit, our correspondent in the Bono East region. Now, 1 person has been killed in a reprisal attack in Young Dapemeyele chieftaincy dispute. 3 houses have been torched, according to community members. There was a gun battle for an hour Saturday dawn in the community. The police intervened in restoring calm, but barely 48 hours, there has been renewed gun battle between the feuding factions. The 2 groups are fighting over the power to rule as chief of the area. Join us via phone line now is Northern Regional Correspondent Martina Bugri. Martina, what more do we know about this violence that has resulted in the death of 1 person?
So it started on Thursday night where there were gunshots in the community. At the end of the gunshots, 2 people were injured. And people in the community believe this one is a reprisal attack of the other one that took place on Thursday. And we are told that at dawn, before dawn prayers, they started firing gunshots in the community, and that lasted to close to an hour before it stopped. And when they broke and they were told that 1 person had died. They also torched some houses in the community. Community members who were in the community were calling out to relatives who are outside the area to seek help because they needed the security to be in the community.
So as we speak, what is the current state of the community? Are the security officers on ground manning the situation, or
yes.
what can you report?
Yes, we are told that there is security presence as we speak now in the community. But the community members are hoping that they stay longer than what happened on Thursday.
Have there been any arrest of those who were engaged in this, gun battle?
At the time as coming on, there had not been any arrest yet from my sources.
Right. We're grateful for your time here, Martina Bugri. Also joining us is the assemblyman for the area, Abdul Wahab Dauda. If you can hear me, Mr. Dauda, we know of 1 death. What is the briefing you're getting on this matter, at least the preliminary investigation into this? Unfortunately, we do not have him on the line, but we'll go to him for more information in subsequent bulletins. Now, government is assuring there will be no freeze on employment in the public sector despite a demand by the International Monetary Fund on government to limit wage increases. Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, says there were a couple of conditions that guaranteed approval of the deal, but a freeze on public sector employment was not one of them. He spoke on Newsfile.
Look at the document and all the negotiations we have done. There is nowhere there is a statement that there is a freeze in employment. We are not going to do that. But this is not also different from what we have been doing. For the past 2 years, recruitment in the government side have focused on the security agencies and the teachers and then also nurses, etc., etc. And these are critical institutions, and the job they do also very critical to our development efforts. And you know that the recruitments are backed by financial clearance. That is when government is able to finance their wages, then the clearance is given. And so that will continue as and when we are able to do that. But there is no explicit decision that there will be a freeze in employment. And so to the extent that we are able to manage this recruitment and also the clearance, we should be able to contain the wage bill. Also, if you monitor over the last 2 years, recruitments into these sectors that I mentioned have been massive, have been unprecedented. Whether you are talking about the security agencies or you are talking about the health professionals and nurses and teachers, more than 2 million people have been recruited into these areas. And therefore, even if you are not able to recruit sooner, you should have the numbers that will be able to support these institutions and the development efforts of our country.
But Member of Parliament for Yape Kusogu in the Savannah region, John Jinabo, insists there will be limited employment in the public sector.
The reality is that workers are going to struggle. Living conditions are going to be tough. And so let's not play around it and say it's the usual thing. It's not the usual thing. If you read the document very well, it's quantitative. It says 0.5% of GDP. So it's a target that you ought to meet. Capital expenditure, 0.9%. It's providing around 0.9% of GDP of savings. Rationalization, goods and services spending, 0.3% of GDP. So these are quantitative targets that the IMF will be measuring. And the statement goes further to say that when you do not meet it, in the mid-year review, you must take steps to reflect those variances in order to come back. So let nobody present it to us as if it's the normal way of doing things. And I've been hearing these 2 million jobs, 2 million jobs. I don't know what that means. I have the budget here. And the budget for me is the most authentic document for me. If you go to page 230, Appendix 7, 2023, total government budget ceiling, staff strength 804,000. It is there. It is in the budget. It's not a political statement. And the budget is debated and adopted. This is what both sides of the House, the entire House, adopted. 804,000 total staff strength. I don't know where this 2 million is coming from. 2 million of what? Is it gross figures? Is it current employment? Is it what? The current total staff strength, the ceiling, that's the 2023 ceiling. Government says that even if it employs so much, it has to end at 804,000. So look, let's not create this impression as if this IMF program is going to lessen so much of a burden. Rather, we have to take some tough, difficult decisions for the next 3 years. The question is, how do we navigate this very difficult path? I think that should be the narrative, that should be the discussion.
However, economist with the University of Ghana, Dr. Priscilla Chomesi Bafo, wants government to focus on employing to key areas of the economy.
I think that this conditionality is not new. It's always been under almost all our IMF programs. The reason being that the wage bill takes a significant chunk of government resources. And so for that matter, whenever we are able to control the rate of growth in the wage bill, then possibly some resources can be saved. But for me, like you rightly said, most of the times exceptions need to be made, particularly in critical areas such as health and education. You would want to make exception to replace, for example, retiring labor, to make sure that there are no deficits created in critical sectors. And I think that that is something that is done under usually most IMF programs, but you would not find a wholesale employment into the security services and others when we are under a program, because you need to contain the wage bill. And you do that by either containing salaries that people are taking or by reducing the number that is being...
I know you're smiling. I was wondering, I mean,
yes,
it will affect you, you know.
I know, essentially, I am, because we are also dealing with the situation of high inflation. So you see, in essence...
How do you balance that?
Exactly. Labor, it's really in a precarious position, in a sense that as prices are increasing, your real wage, at the end of the day, how much your salary affords you now is just about a half of what it used to do. And I understand why labor union would be up in arms in trying to find out the clear position of government. But the reality is that, yes, I mean, IMF programs have always come with a lot of negative impact on the ordinary Ghanaian, the ordinary worker and all that. And for me, my position is that that is what we need to learn, important lessons, so that periodically we do not find ourselves back here.
Away from the IMF, let's settle on some security issues. Now, National Coordinator of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, is urging Ghanaian and Ivorian residents living in the border community of Grand Bassam in Côte d'Ivoire to do their part in securing the boundaries of the two countries by reporting violations of the Western Maritime Boundary. He spoke during a sensitization program for the residents living close to the Western Maritime Boundary. Ghana's Western Maritime Boundary with Côte d'Ivoire became prominent after the discovery of oil and the subsequent maritime dispute with the International Tribunal of the Law all the sea ruled in favor of Ghana in 2017. ICLOS said Ghana has not violated Cote d'Ivoire's sovereign rights with its oil exploration in the disputed basin. Now, Maxwell Agbaba has more from Cote d'Ivoire.
The Ghana Boundary Commission regularly organizes awareness programs in border communities to educate residents on their role in helping to secure the boundaries of the country. The Ghanaian and Ivorian residents of Grand Bassam live very close to the maritime boundary. A joint inspection by the Ghana Boundary Commission, the Navy, and other state institutions in April revealed there is no violation of Ghana's western maritime boundary as ruled by ICLOS in 2017. Present at the sensitization program were chiefs, residents, and opinion leaders. Speaking at the event, National Coordinator of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, said the residents have a role to play in safeguarding Ghana's western maritime boundary with Cote d'Ivoire. He wants them to report any violations to the Boundary Commission of Ghana or Cote d'Ivoire.
We want to use this opportunity to advise you to be very alert so far as our boundaries are concerned. Make sure there are any violations from any side. Because you are living at this side, you report to the National Boundary Commission of Cote d'Ivoire, or if you find yourself on the other side, you report. We think that in maintaining the sanctity of the international boundary line, we will really protect our various territorial sovereignties. It's also very important for you to understand that there was some small dispute that you are all aware. However, the International Tribunal has ruled on the case, and both Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire are respecting the decision of the court. What we are now doing is to implement the decision of the ICLOS decision, the ICLOS ruling that was given by the court. And in that case, we and the National Boundary Commission of Cote d'Ivoire, we are working together to manage a number of issues. One, inspection, joint inspection of the maritime boundary, so that we see that there are no violations on the maritime line.
He says the Ghana Boundary Commission has been discussing various initiatives with its Ivorian counterpart on how the two countries can improve cross-border cooperation.
The second thing is that we also will be taking activities to help people living along the shores of the maritime boundary so far as cross-boundary cooperation is concerned. And in doing so, we have been meeting over the period to discuss various initiatives in which we can adopt to be able to support cross-boundary cooperation, rules and regulations of the country that you are, and to also respect the rules that govern crossing of international boundaries so far as both the international maritime boundaries and the land boundaries are concerned. You know, most of you are involved in fishing. Make sure that you obey the regulations and don't veer into places that you're not supposed to go to so far as the international maritime boundary is concerned.
The chief of the Ghanaian residents in Grand Bassam said he's excited about the sensitization program. He says they will help to safeguard Ghana's western maritime boundary. The program was very helpful. And as you can see, my people are excited about the education we had. We come from Ghana, and it's our civic responsibility, he said.
Okay, I'm Robert
Another resident, a fisherman, Robert Ajolulu, said they had heard of the maritime dispute and the ICLOS decision, but did not know they had any role to play in the enforcement of the decision. He says they will report any violations.
Maxwell Agbaba filed that report. Now, bird experts and enthusiasts are worried about the alarming decline of Ghana's migratory bird population. The loss of wetlands and vital habitats for these birds have been cited as a major contributing factor to this worrisome trend. Now, this came to light during a bird walk event on Global Big Day in Accra. Michael Ashali has more.
A pied kingfisher sits comfortably on the branch. It
It is a captivating bird known for its distinctive black and white plumage and impressive fishing skills. Its distinctive rattling call and graceful flight make it a beloved sight for bird watchers and nature enthusiasts in Ghana. And so it was for bird watchers who participated in this year's Global Big Day event.
It's not in breeding, the color, the bill is still yellow or pink. And the juvenile has a black bill.
With binoculars in hand and in the company of ornithologist David Damani, they embarked on an adventure of discovery, unlocking the secrets of Ghana's winged wonders, one feathered marvel at a time.
See, this is the northern red bishop. Yeah. This is the fire crown, used to be called fire crown.
The yellow-crowned bishop is a striking bird with its vibrant yellow crown and intricate black plumage. In the colorful tapestry of bishop birds, the black-winged red bishop emerges as a fiery masterpiece, its ebony wings and crimson plumage painting a vibrant portrait of avian brilliance. Like a vision from an artist's brush, the western reef heron graces the wetlands with its ethereal presence, adorned in a cloak of slate grey plumage that embodies elegance and tranquility. Perched gracefully on the ground, the collared pratinco exudes an air of serenity, embracing its surroundings with a relaxed demeanor that invites admiration for its poise and beauty. The loss of wetlands, the once cherished homes to countless migratory birds, poses a grave concern as these vital habitats diminish, threatening the vibrant melodies and survival of these winged travelers. Joseph Afrifa is with the Ghana Wildlife Society.
There are a lot of benefits we get from every species on Earth. So, and then there's that thing we call the food chain and food cycle. So somebody feeds on somebody, somebody feeds on somebody. So the snake feeds on the frog feeds on probably other things, and then that cycle goes on. The birds feed on the snake, somebody feeds on the bird, and that. So if you take one thing out of the equation, that means you've distorted the balance. So the numbers going down means that the ecosystem functioning is being tempered with.
For participants, their hearts were filled with gratitude.
I like this. I mean, I've studied birds a little.
Okay.
I never took the pain to actually look at the details of what the names were, the features, and today I got to learn. So I believe that if I follow through with the monthly bird watching, I'll be a good and an experienced watcher here.
From the resplendent colors of the bishops to the majestic flight of kingfishers, bird walking shows the magnificence and fragility of Ghana's feathered inhabitants. Until we meet again, happy birding. For Joy News, Michael Ashali.
The Economic Community of West African States says its long-term vision is to build the sub-region into an economic powerhouse capable of addressing all energy and infrastructural needs for all its citizens. Already a strategic meeting is underway with the hope of developing key performance indicators that can be measured over the next 4 years. There's more in the following report.
The Strategic Planning and Development Assessment Workshop brought together officials of the Economic Community of West African States and other international partners. The 5-day assessment workshop is seeking to enable constructive engagement between the Strategic Planning Directorate and other departments as well as directorates of ECOWAS to ensure a common understanding of the 4x4 strategic objectives of the current ECOWAS Commission management and to develop key performance indicators that can be measured over the next 4 years. Speaking on the sidelines of the event, Ambassador Baba Ghana Wakil, the resident representative of ECOWAS to Ghana, underscored that strategic planning is crucial to the success of ECOWAS.
Which I believe is what is very, very necessary for any organization, any regional organization such as our own, to move to the next level. We are a commodity superpower, and the only thing that is standing on our way to be at par with the Middle East and some countries in Asia is to get our digital and energy infrastructure on a sound footing, because those are the enablers. Once you get those right, then you will be able to get other things right. That is the purpose of our gathering, is to connect the dots. Let everybody be here under one roof to make their contributions. I believe we have experts from all over, including some consultants and resource persons who are ready to brainstorm on this issue.
Deliberations at this year's meeting focused on the mines infrastructure and digital economy.
So we are here today with all the directorates. We are focusing on energy, mines, infrastructure, and digital economy to look at the 4x4 critically and then develop key performance indicators for the 4x4, which can be used to measure the performance of this current management of the ECOWAS Commission. So we are here to come up with indicators, how we measure it, who and who is involved, what are the programs and the projects that will lead to the achievement of all the priority actions being identified by the current management.
So how would this feed into the Vision 2050?
Yes, because it will feed in time over time, because this is, we can say, is a medium term.
The regional economic body, ECOWAS, says it is hoping to align the common strategic framework and the 4x4 strategic objectives and key performance indicators defined during the finalized common strategic framework.
Now, danger looms at Kaneshie Bishop 1 and 2 basic schools in the Okaigwe South municipality of the Greater Accra region, where live electric wires run through a tree on the compound, exposing pupils to danger. Apart from that, the situation is adversely impacting teaching and learning, as parts of the roof of the school structure have been ripped off by the branches of a huge tree. Pupils and residents are thus calling on the Electricity Company of Ghana Municipal Assembly and the Department of Parks and Gardens to immediately intervene. My colleague Carlos Coloni has the rest of the story.
It's break time here at Kaneshie Bishop 1 and 2 basic schools at Bubuashi in the Okaigwe South municipality of the Greater Accra region. The over 1,000 school pupils have been let loose to play under many trees here, including this one, which has live electrical wires running through its branches, exposing them to possible electrocution. Even though school authorities have cordoned off the place to prevent school kids from getting closer to the tree, chances of electrocution remains high as the place is still accessible. Here are some of the school children sharing their concerns with JoyNews.
There's a wire here which is making us afraid of coming to school when it rains. If the rain falls and we see the wire on the trees like that, we become scared.
We are afraid that if the rain falls and we touch the tree, it might shock us. So we play under the sun.
One of our first, when it rains, some of them doesn't come to school.
Branches of the tree have also ripped off part of the roof of the school structure and that of residents nearby. Students here say the situation is adversely impacting on teaching and learning.
When it rains, there are some holes in our roofing sheet, so the rains leaks through the roofing sheet and some of the drops falls on our head and our boots become wet.
When it rains, it does not really come to the class, but there are some holes in the ceiling that falls. When the rain falls, it passes through.
Meanwhile, a resident, Educhum Doku, who shares a wall with the school, says he lives in constant fear as a result.
I'm really scared. Sometimes when it rains and it gets so heavily and the tenders just run through, I can touch the wall and then it will electrify me because of the electricity wires running through the trees.
Attempts made to speak with the school authorities have not been successful. Meanwhile, students and residents of JoyNews, they expect the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, or the Parks and Gardens to immediately intervene.
We want the ECG to move the electrical wires here so that they put it to another place.
I'm looking at two options now. Either electricity company of Ghana should come and just redirect the wires because it runs through my roof, and when it rains heavily and it's fell on the roof, everything is going to be scattered. Or we will go in for parks and gardens to come and just check the tree. It is too big, so that they will trim the tree to the extent that it will not have effect on the children.
From Kaneshie Bishop 1 and 2 basic schools here in Accra, my name is Carlos Kaloni for Joy News.
Now, Joy News gets results as engineers are currently on site working on the 12-unit classroom block at the Zenu cluster of schools in the Katamanso municipality of the Greater Accra region in a bid to fortify the structure for effective academic work. This follows Joy News' earlier reportage on the state of the structure that forced hundreds of school pupils to study under trees. My colleague Carlos Kaloni once again visited the site and reports.
When we visited the Zeno cluster of schools last week, 8th of May 2023, we saw school children studying under trees. According to pupils and teachers of the school, some strong movement were intermittently felt in the building during lessons. Following a Joy News report, the Municipal Director of Education, Harry Evans Arthur, assured his office will move swiftly to fortify the building within a month. A follow-up to the school Thursday, May 18, 2023 revealed that work had started in earnest, with contractor excavating the ground floor of all the classrooms. It is the hope of the Education Directorate that works will be completed as scheduled in order to uphold the right of both pupils and teachers to study in a decent and conducive atmosphere.
What is happening at the moment is that the Assembly has been able to send engineers to the ground. As I speak to you now, work is in progress. They are working so hard to make sure that work is done in less than a month so that students can go back and use the classroom.
The Katamanso Municipal Education Directorate has meanwhile launched the Teacher Prize on its 10th anniversary to celebrate the work of teachers and the achievements of the last decade. Commending the municipality for this initiative, Deputy Director General of the Ghana Education Service in charge of quality and access, Dr. Kobina Bempa Tando, noted that as part of government overall education reform in the country, the GES is introducing reforms for teachers' professional development.
It is important to know that quality education, as we are implementing it now, is drawn from the Education Strategic Plan of 2018 to 2030. There are a number of things, including reform of teachers or teacher reforms, as we talk about it, which looks at how we can ensure that our teachers, as well as non-teaching staff, continue to have high level of professionalism in the work that we do. We have worked with the Ministry of Education to implement a number of things. Number one being the 2019 implementation of the Continuous Professional Development Allowance for Teachers to support teachers in their own professional development as they deem necessary and see fit.
The launch also witnessed the unveiling of anniversary cloth. Speaking to Joy News, some teachers believe the move would go a long way to enhance academic performance in the municipality.
The overall academic performance, you see, when teachers are appreciated, they give off their best. And if when teachers are giving off their best, then definitely the academic performance is also going to be improved.
With this, I tell you, our next result is going to be different.
From Katamanso Municipality, my name is Carlos Kaloni for Joy News.
The Member of Parliament for the Wa constituency, Superintendent retired Peter Lanchini Tobu, has described as the inhumane and unconducive learning environment that pupils of Kantu Primary School in the Wa West District are being subjected to. Joy News, in a report by Georgia Kobina aired on Tuesday, told the challenges that authorities and pupils of Kantu Primary School grapple with on a daily basis in their bid to have access to education. Though he is worried about the plight of the pupils, he has however parried the blame on government.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/post. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/post. That's ZipRecruiter.com/post. ZipRecruiter.com/post.
And their stories. A key part of our job here at JoyNews is to make clearer the muffled voices in every part of society. We shine light on the issues. My name is Aisha Ibrahim, and this is JoyNews. Independent, credible, and fearless.
You're welcome back. Now, one challenge farmers in Ghana face is the lack of scientific data on soil fertility variations within specific local contexts. As a result, the mass application of inorganic fertilizers has not yielded desired outcomes. Against this background, Tropembos Ghana, together with Friends of the Nation and the Faculty of Renewable Natural Resources at KNUST, is implementing the EU-funded Research for Development and Innovation, Agriculture and Learning project in Ghana to address this challenge. Explaining the details of the project, a lecturer at the Faculty of Renewable Natural Resources, KNUST, Professor Boateng, stated that the project sought to generate scientific data on specific soil nutrient deficiencies within target landscapes to enable farmers make informed decisions on soil amendments for improving soil fertility and crop yield.
This project, which is funded by the EU, is designed to help farmers overcome some of the major hurdles that they face in trying to grow certain crops in the country. And the crops are basically maize, rice, and then legumes, either soybean or cowpea. And the hurdles that we are trying to help them overcome include one, low soil fertility, and then also after harvesting, how to trash the crops so that they can remove the grains from the residue. And then we also have a situation in which farmers have a lot of complaints, but they are unable to make their voices heard by the right authorities, whether these are local authorities or they are national authorities. So we provide a platform where farmers can dialogue alongside other stakeholders in the agricultural value chain to make sure that their concerns are heard by the relevant people, and hopefully through that they can get support or help from whoever has to deal with that particular problem. In the tropics, soils are generally poor because of one, in the way in which they have been formed. These are very old soils, so they are heavily leached. And nature actually replenishes soil nutrients in the tropics through what we call nutrient recycling. And so when you look at forests, for instance, they look very nice, big trees growing very fast, but in actual fact, their soils are very poor. And they depend on nutrient cycling, efficient nutrient cycling to maintain plant productivity. And the same thing translates into farms, because farms are simply man-made ecosystems. So they face similar problems. And once you remove the vegetation, then the fertility declines with time. So anytime you harvest from your field, you have actually mined out some nutrients and taken them away. So with time, the nutrient levels drops to a level where it can no longer, the soil can no longer support very productive high levels of crop production.
He says the project that has reached several farmers across Ghana is helping them to focus on the use of organic matter to replenish the nutrient levels of cultivated lands.
First, we all fall on chemical fertilizers to supplement what is available in the soil, and that is the convention. But we also know that you can use some traditional methods, which is falling back on organic matter through nutrient cycling to also replenish the soil nutrients. So this project actually is focusing on that second aspect of falling on nutrient cycling, which is what nature does to replenish soil nutrients, which are removed through cropping. The impact in terms of the number of people that we have been able to reach is quite high. We are working in 5 major agricultural districts in the country, and through that we are able to reach a lot of people. In terms of the technology transfer, a lot of farmers have also benefited from what we are doing, but the next challenge is how to sustain what we've been able to do, and that is why we are here today. That whatever that we are doing, whatever result that we have generated, we should be able to anchor it in the national policy and programs so that they can be taken up by even farmers that we are not working with at the moment.
The Chief of Army Staff, Major General Thomas Opon-Pepra, says Ghana's participation in global peace support operations will move to another level following the acquisition of a UN certificate by the Army Peace Operations Training School at Bondase. The school, which has been training since 2021, trains troops from Ghana for peacekeeping operations in Africa and the rest of the globe. Presenting the certificate to the school at a ceremony at Bondase, the Chief of Army Staff said the recognition by the UN will further propel the Ghana Armed Forces in contributing to global peace and the defense of the entire sub-region. JoyNews' Pakwesi Shandoff was at the event and has this report.
Since its establishment in June 2021, the Army Peace Operations Training School of the Ghana Armed Forces at Bondase has been instrumental in churning out troops for peace support operations in countries like South Sudan, Sierra Leone, Rwanda, Mali, and Liberia. However, the absence of a certificate from the UN meant that the school was not yet up to international standards. This hurdle has now been removed following the school's acquisition of the much-needed UN training certificate to upgrade its status. Presenting the certificates to the school, the Chief of the Army Staff, Major Thomas Opon-Pepra, was full of gratitude for the feat chalked by the school.
When you have showers in the morning before a function like this, then it tells you that indeed these are showers of blessing. We are gathered here today to witness another chalked milestone by the Ghana Army. The Ghana Army, in its efforts towards ensuring effective participation in peace support operations, led to the establishment of the Army Peace Operations Training School.
As the brain behind the establishment of the school, he further expressed optimism about the future prospects of the training facility.
UN Training Recognition Certificate automatically upgrades the standard of Army Peace Operations Training School internationally. It further affirms that APOS, as is shortly called, training content is comparable to any other UN accredited institution worldwide. This makes APOS the first of its kind in the West African region. Furthermore, APOS has become the enviable institution that will soon commence training partnership with sister countries in the region. It will additionally conduct short-duration tactical courses in the areas of peace support operations.
On his part, the commander of the school, Colonel C.K. Dingane added that apart from the training of military troops, the school is also opened to equipping interested persons in the dynamics of peacekeeping.
We have already developed a number of short courses, 2 weeks, 3 weeks courses, military observer courses, staff officers courses, peacekeeping intelligence courses, training on UAVs, and then many other courses that we have already established, getting to about 6 or 7 courses that we have developed. And then courses that we are also training with our partners, with the Americans who are also coming in, with the British, with the Canadians, with other peace-loving countries that want to enhance peacekeeping in the international arena. So it has exposed us to these other partners that they have confidence that this institution is not just a localized one, it is something that is international, that they could run the same courses that they will be doing in maybe in Germany or in UK or in US, can do the same courses in Ghana, and the certificate that will be presented to the participant will have the same level of recognition anywhere anyone finds himself.
He also highlighted some challenges facing the school.
For every new institution, there will be basic challenges, especially certain areas that you need to have them. You eventually have them, but immediately you will not have everything in place. So first, we have to look at the infrastructure, which maybe we might not have enough as is expected. But once it is being taken place, the buildings and all those things are taking place, we don't call it too much a challenge because it's an issue that could be solved in the near future. Then we are also looking at the number of personnel that should be available to conduct the training. As time goes on, those people will be posted in to ensure that we get the number of personnel.
The ceremony also saw the commissioning of 3 new projects at the school in Bundase. The projects included the Bundase Spring Water Production Site, a facility for producing water for the school, a regimental aid post, which is to serve as a clinical facility for the school, as well as a social center. The Chief of the Army Staff also held a Durbar with personnel from the Ghana Armed Forces amidst a parade and armed drills during the event. From Bundase, Pakwesi Shandoff for Joy News.
Chief Executive Officer of the Northern Development Authority, lawyer Sule Sambian, has stated that despite challenges faced by the government, it is delivering on its promises to the people. Using the NDA to his case, he said 78 projects have been initiated and awarded to contractors, 29 of which have been completed. Lawyer Sambian made the statement during a tour of operational areas where he commissioned some projects funded by the NDA have been completed. Lawyer Sambian made the statement during a tour of operational areas where he commissioned some projects funded by the NDA.